I took care of it. I just started the recording.
Okay. Let me pray again. Father, in Jesus' name, bless every person. Let hope fill the hearts and the lives of every single person that's listening to the sound of our voices tonight. Let wisdom come, and let strength come, and let blessing come, and let, Father, just the highest, greatest emotions and feelings come as we learn and understand what you're doing in this situation in our life, and that we're called to this place right now. We know that your hand has selected us, and we thank you for it. Bless your people now. Bless Jerry, bless Psycho, bless myself, bless whoever's here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, and thank you for that. Today is April 24th, 2016. Welcome to the Wing It call. Today we're going to talk about exchange procedures. I think we're getting pretty close. So let's see here. I guess I need to ask a question. You can text me. Oh, yeah. Definitely, we're not professionals. We're not attorneys. We're not lawyers. We're not financial accountants. We're not CPAs, CFAs, COOs, none of that stuff. And for the rest of the disclaimer, please go to the wingitcall.com. Nancy, is everything working over there on your end? Please text me a yes or a no. Hello, Nancy. Just a yes or a no. Are you hearing me over there? Nothing from her yet. Well, we're going to have... Got it. No, that wasn't Nancy. It was somebody else. Got it. Okay, can the people on your side hear me? Did you get us patched in? That's the question. Hope so. Okay. So, here, maybe you can text somebody on your side, or if anybody can, over on Nancy's call, can you text her to let her know if you can hear me or not? I'm going to continue on. So today, we're going to talk, this is maybe a little repetitiveness about the exchange procedures, and some other things could be new. So here we go. As we speak, private exchanges are going on at this hour. Private group exchanges will be very high to the end of April. Lost my spot here. Rates will be very high to the end of April, then start diminishing at the beginning of May. Appointment processing times are now ranging between an hour up to 2 hours, depending on the volume and your need. There's wonderful protection both at the redemption centers and outward in a 7-mile perimeter. You and your currency are very safe, gold back, and blessed beyond understanding. I'm thinking that even though they may not know you coming in, that they're probably going to be looking out for incidents that might be out of the normal. So that's just my opinion, that there's a possibility that they're going to be looking both ways. 800 numbers will be made available on the internet and to key providers. Call, set up your appointment, provide your name, your currencies, your zip code. If you're a ZIM holder, they're going to they will bring you to the front. At your appointment, you'll need to produce at least 2 forms of identification, 1 picture, 1 non-pictured. I have a passport and a driver's license, so I'm sure that will work work or school ID, an SS card, birth certificate, credit cards, health insurance card, existing bank information, voter registration, even a utility bill. Next, be prepared to discuss your humanitarian or job creation plans moving forward. If you have pre-existing materials, bring them. If not, be prepared to discuss your philanthropic agenda with this money moving forward. Remember, the banks want to know what you're going to do, and are you going to be doing right with the money and help others with your abundant blessing. And it will be abundant. Present all your currencies for a Delarue machine counting and be prepared to start negotiations for a very high rate. Nosebleed rates. Rates are higher than you're probably even thinking, so you won't have to force your way up. No, you won't. Present a good plan. Bring your business mind. And I think you're going to be okay. Remember, they want you to have both this money and spread it around to friends, family, and your community. To ask for exactly what you need, and you want to achieve any long-term philanthropic and generation wealth goal. That means I'm looking, and I say this because you don't know what's going to happen once you're gone, so I'm looking past bloodline into what they call that longevity and perpetuity. I want to make sure that whatever I start keeps going for as long as possible. And, you know, after you get this all set up, one of the things to think about is write down your thoughts and your goals for future people to read. You know, it could be adjusted a little, but these are your thoughts, your hopes, and your dreams. This is why you started this. Okay. Bring with you any of the following items if you want to have a follow-up advanced banking discussion. Wiring information to send money into other accounts. Cashier's checklist to cut checks into other accounts. It's okay to include checks for bills that are past due and must have paid off ASAP to save a home or pay for dire medical procedures. Existing account information to transfer funds into other accounts. A list of new accounts you want opened, including trust accounts for your immediate family. Number of credit cards you want opened for yourself and family. Now, I want to say something about this. I've been doing a little research. You know, and everybody wants that big, flashy, black Amex. I don't. The Platinum Amex has pretty much everything the black does. It's not as flashy. And they can also give you, from Amex, a card that isn't as flashy that you can also use. But if you're going to use that card, those are for big ticket items. You know, you can, with the money we're going to have, you can say, you know what, I'd like the limit on this to be either unlimited or at X amount. And it can be high. Just remember, it's a credit card. You remember how the small ones get you in trouble, the big ones can too. So we'll just kind of address that there. The following item regarding structured payouts will need to be discussed at some point during your appointment, and you will need to fully grasp before going into your appointment that they that they are for your benefit for the following reasons. Let me read that again. The following item regarding structured payouts will need to be discussed at some point during your appointment. You will need to fully grasp before going into your appointment that they are there for your benefit for the following reasons. It will help you adjust to your new sudden and abundant wealth. They will provide immediate short and long-term principal protection. They will generate quarterly interest off of principal in exchange for a mutually agreed upon term. I guess that would be interest. They'll allow your principal to sit safely in a non-taxable holding trust, skeleton trust, until you can coordinate a proven financial team to handle your new sudden wealth blessing. Let me read that again. They allow your principal to sit safely in a non-taxable holding trust, parentheses, a skeleton trust, until you can coordinate a proven financial team to handle your new sudden wealth blessing. This also will allow you to have immediate access to a portion of your new principal without exposing all of your principal to financial predators. They also will allow you to have immediate access to a portion of your new principal without exposing all of your principal to financial predators. Final thoughts here. If you're trying to logically figure this out, stop. The RV is complex and well beyond everyday logic. I agree with that because I'm still trying to figure it out, and I still scratch my head wondering what the hey. Instead, just enjoy the buffets of riches the Lord has prepared. I want you to think spiritual transition versus banking transaction, and you'll be able to enjoy your exchange appointment much, much better. If you feel that you're getting lost or lightheaded, ask for a little oxygen and then ask for your angels to help you back into your body so you can complete your exchange successfully. Because you might have an out-of-body experience with the rates that they might present with you. Prayer works, so by all means pray for divine guidance and knowledge whenever things start to feel the money is beyond your grasp. Stop. Grab a knee and say, Lord, I've been asking this for years, but I really need some help now. So, God brings us to every challenge in life with a divine ability to go through it gracefully. Trust that you are getting the experience, this blessing, for a divine reason. Let this fact be enough in the moment. Consider this financial miracle heavenly payback for all the good earthly acts, kind words, and silent prayers done to service of others. God knows what's deepest in your hearts, and He's obviously rewarding us for being righteous and loyal through all these years of suffering. And yes, waiting, being patient, like Job. Look what happened to Job. Lost all of his kids, lost all of his animals, lost all of his property, almost lost his life through pain and suffering. But when he came out on the other side through trials and tribulations, his faith carried him through. And let me tell you, that's a tough one. But we made it. We're here. So, Amen is just a variation of the Greek word amen, which translated meaning means because it is so. So in closing, let's say a big amen, because the RV is so and our money problems are now vanquished in Christ's name. Amen. Yet we haven't been to the bank and people are going, I'm still broke. Well, all of us, in one way or another, need this blessing. And yes, we're still broke, but what is that? I'm trying to think here, and Pastor might have to help me out, but the good Lord says, look, even the birds I provide safe.
Even the birds have food. Even the lilies of the valley are clothed. He said, and I take care of those, and yet how much more will I take care of you, oh, you of little faith? Sermon on the Mount.
Okay. Got that. Now, I put out a tweet to send your questions to the WINGIT email. Oop, not that one. Where did it go? Right there, Q&A. Pastor, do you want to start with the Q&A? You want to do the question and I get to do the answer? Pastor? Uh-oh. I think you dropped off. Something happened. You'll call back
hang on
in a minute.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Pastor Jerry. You got me on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with question number 1. If we already have an irrevocable trust account, can you bring that trust and deposit into an existing trust account, Jerry?
Answer is maybe. Not sure how the banks want to track this new money, via a new account or through an existing account. Best to bring your existing trust and ask. However, if you're not, say, a client of Wells Fargo and you'll be opening up a new account regardless of whether or not you have an existing trust and or accounts at other banks. However,
very,
if you're not,
very
say,
good.
client, you'll be opening a new account regardless. Because if you have Zim and you don't have an account, you're going to be opening a new account. All right, Go ahead.
All right. Second question: Should we bring up taxes, or should we expect a federal capital gain on this exchange?
This exchange is a non-taxable event if opened in a skeleton trust. Now before everybody starts twisting in the wind like a kite string, let's read the rest of this. The interest you receive from a structured payout is taxable and will be payable per quarterly installments 4 times a year per standard capital gains taxation models. So it's a non-taxable event on the principal you put in there, but only on the interest that you gain.
Got it.
Now, here's a doozy, and I put this one in here because this is life and this is reality. Pastor, you're going to take the question and the answer.
Okay. If I plan on divorcing my spouse, should I have them attend the exchange appointment? We were cracking up. All right. Yes and no. Yes, because you both own the asset technically. No, because they probably don't believe in any of this RV nonsense. However, if you stop and think about it openly, the RV appointment might be a great time to split up family assets and get ahead of your filing for divorce as painlessly as possible for the kids and family. And I'm already being sad about even mentioning this, Jerry, but I'll keep reading. If you take half and they take half, then you're both golden and financially set. Then you decide if you want to go to the attorneys and break off the marriage. Be advised, you will react very differently after you have this money in your marriage. So maybe it's the best to put off the divorce until you see if all your problems were just money-induced especially if you have young children, because the grass isn't any greener someplace else. Even if you can only buy a brand new lawn. I want to just tell you, Jerry, 30 years of marriage, I wouldn't ever want to be apart. But I'll tell you one thing. You're a bad man for making me read that, Pastor Jerry. I love you.
I love you too, but that one right there, it needed the reverend touch.
Yeah. Guys, I think that the number one reason why people separate and divorce is financial problems, and you need to know that. And this is going to hopefully help a lot of you, but your heart and how you handle it is going to really be the difference, and people are going to take this differently. And, you know, you're supposed to receive it and understand that this is something that's very special for you, and it should lift you and lighten you, and it should give you something in your heart to make you want to help other people. You're going to get help yourself, and I believe it's honestly going to fix a lot of problems, but keep a soft heart. Live in life and get better, never get bitter. Jerry, I got another question.
Go ahead.
We've heard that the bank will provide a skeleton trust. Can you explain that? What is that?
A skeleton trust is just a bare-bones trust document that will serve as a quick and legal way to deposit your wealth into an estate planning entity that transfers without taxation should something shorten your life expectancy. So if you walk out the door and, you know, you have a Fred Sanford, Elizabeth, I'm coming. Well, at least then you don't have to go through probate, and that's where all your money goes. It's basically a holding trust until you can work through more specific details of how, who, what, and when you want this money dealt with long term. Thus, a skeleton trust is there for your protection, short and long term. Embrace the skeleton trust concept. Don't be afraid.
You know, a lot of people had trouble with just understanding what a trust was, and the skeleton trust can be moved into anything. Correct?
Exactly.
So it's something really good. It's not bad. This is a fantastic opportunity. A fantastic opportunity. Can you explain any more of that?
No, because I'm not sure exactly, what type it is, but I do know that what was explained here will protect you, and it gives you the option. You're going to have a couple of months to make a decision, not just, a couple of days. Say, okay, I may not like this, and the bank's going to work with you. There's been a lot of talk out there about how the banks, we've got to watch out for the banks, and now they're our friend, and people are, and I perpetuated that. That was my fault. But I've since learned that you have to have a bank one way or another. There's no way around it. To hold your money.
And back to the second question, Jerry, that was the answer you gave was the exchange is not a taxable event. If you open up your RV or your GCR into a skeleton trust, so it's not a taxable event if you use a skeleton trust to open up your funds. And I mean, it's going to be very important. Very good thing.
Right, and and when we say non-taxable, that's not the interest that you're going to make off of it, but the original amount you deposit in your skeleton trust or principal. So
yes,
yes.
We got another question. Please,
can I make a comment on that trust?
Yep,
go for it.
Hey, Rockstar, go ahead.
Okay, the skeleton trust is going to allow you to take your time finding the right trust attorney, finding the right trustees, finding all the right people without feeling rushed. It's a bare bones trust. You can manipulate that thing any way you want to go afterward. And that, quite frankly, that's what I'm doing because I didn't know how much money I was going to have to deal with. And I won't know until the day after I exchange. But that has a huge bearing on the type of trust, sub-trust that you do within the trust. So it doesn't mean the bank controls your money. all it means is you're under the protection of trust law. So it's a good thing. Don't be afraid of it.
Very good, Iko. You helped us all out. That's awesome response.
As
Jerry.
always.
Yep, absolutely. He's the money man. Jerry, please explain structured payouts, could you?
I can do that. Hold on just a second. So structured payouts are estate planning investment products that allow large amounts of principal to earn interest while remaining in a protected trust structure. The bank leverages your principal and offers you an interest benefit for holding your funds in the bank for an agreed upon period of time. When that timeline ends, you get full access to your principal. In this case, a portion of your principal will be available to you immediately, depending on what interest-bearing structured payout you select. Again, structured payouts are there for your protection of principal, growth of capital, and short-term holding benefit until you find a financial team that can manage your abundant new wealth long-term. Embrace the structured payout concept. So I'm going to break this down real redneck. And people are going to laugh, and some may not understand. So if your lawn is thirsty and you decide to water it, you walk out there with a fire truck and you just pour the whole tanker on top of the ground, it soaks in a little bit, and then it runs off everywhere and doesn't benefit, and then it just makes a mess. So if we do a slow watering of the yard, it soaks in, gets way down in there deep, and it doesn't make a big mess. So think about this in money terms. If you dropped all this money out into the economy, it'd be like watering your lawn wide open with the fire hose. You know, and this is just my personal opinion. I'm not an economist, an economist, or whatever the heck you want to call it, but I believe it would probably throw prices into hyperinflation because, oh my God, everybody's got money. I can charge this, I can charge that. So think of a structured payout as a safety valve to ease it into the economy, and a check valve, however you want to look at it. When I said redneck, here's the redneck part of it. Think of it as a leach field for your septic system. Slow and easy out there, and you have no problems when it's slow and easy. So there's the septic version of it. Yeah, that's redneck, all right. So,
all right.
Payout. All right, go ahead.
I think that's a good thing. All right. I know Wells Fargo is the leading bank for exchanging ZIM notes in the USA. However, what will Canadians exchange their ZIM notes? I've heard so many of the Canadians ask on calls, where can we exchange our ZIM notes? And
the UK also, and I've even had
yes.
emails from Australia. So here's the best I can come up with. Wells Fargo is the only bank intaking ZIM notes because they are historical bonds, once printed as a currency. They are the only currency that has this dual asset classification. As for redeeming ZIM in Canada, HSBC and Wells Fargo have the same Chinese owner. I would try HSBC first, but I'm sure when you tell the 800 number operator you have ZIM, they will send you exactly where you need to be to exchange ZIM, so don't sweat it. And I'm sure everybody's going to have an 800 number, but I can't vouch for Canada, UK, Australia, or anything outside the US. I'd love to help, but I don't know. Straight and simple. Now that being said, Iko, I know that you've been waiting patiently. Please go ahead.
Well, on having a Wells Fargo nearby, if push comes to shove, and again, you got to start thinking like a wealthy person, okay? And you find out that the nearest place you can exchange is 600 air miles away, and you're one of these folks who maybe has $125 in your checking account, just take one of the other notes. Hopefully you've got another note. Exchange it and get the money to fly, either by chartering a plane, which is going to be quickest and simplest, or however you need to get to that place. You have, from my understanding, you've got a few days to get there. You want to get there as soon as possible to the Wells Fargo exchange place. But if you don't get there that night or that day, don't panic. Just get there within 48 hours. Get there in a couple of days. You can figure it out. You can call Wells Fargo and tell them your dilemma. And maybe there's some way for them to help you out with this. I don't know, but what I don't want anybody to do is freeze up with fear. There's a way around it. And the 800 number that you call, they will help you get around that issue. And it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know this for a fact, because if you call a TD bank, just like if you call a Wells Fargo bank, they don't know anything. But after the 800 numbers come out and after we are officially in an exchange environment, I am sure that the largest bank in Canada, for example, will be able to help you out and direct you to where you need to go as well. Same thing in Australia, unless you're out walking about the desert. There's gonna be a way to do this. So the last thing you want to do is panic. Just start asking questions. The answer will find you. And I really don't have anything else to say, dear. I mean, it's just, we're here.
Well, I was talking to myself, and once again, I had hit the mute button because I didn't want everybody to hear what I was doing. So I read a couple of more emails that people sent in, and we'll just talk about this real quick. Relax, not to panic. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be okay. They want to help us. They do. So here's one of the questions that came in. My husband or my buddy or my friend, something like that, had bad credit cards, got them all paid off through Wells Fargo, and then he tried to go back and they wouldn't even open up an account with him. What do you think the chances are that that they'll even talk with him? And my reply to them was, money talks. When you're standing there, instead of talking about, a couple thousand or, a couple $100, all of a sudden they're looking at millions. That changes the whole perspective on how they're going to treat you. Why, yes, sir. I believe we've been told they don't want the money to leave the bank at all. Do not let it walk back out the door. They are in business to make money, just like we are. And you have to remember that. You pay for what you get. It's going to be a learning curve. It's going to be okay. I mean, we could go into the real inner workings, but that's not what this call is about. It's to get us prepared when you walk in the door. So they're going to have as I said before, a pre-stage area. Show me the money. Flop your little bank bags or your briefcase, or reach into your wallet, like Fred Sanford, and pull out your wad and throw it up there and take the rubber band off and say, here, count me out. They run it through the machine. Now, people are going to ask about NDAs. can't answer it. Don't know how long. You know, we've heard so much, we don't know what's true. So it could be anywhere from 60 days, 30 days to, you know, it could be a 5-year one. I don't know. But the thing is, does it really matter? Because if you get a good rate, are you going to tell anybody? No, absolutely not. Not even your children, and maybe not even your spouse, especially if they've demonstrated they can't keep thy lip zipped. I was talking with a friend of mine. No, not Rockstar, another friend. And even their kids don't know. Absolutely not. They just know Dad can do what he wants, but that's the extent of it. They probably won't know till you're pushing daisies or at a point when you determine that you want them to know. But, you know, the NDA, nothing to worry about. Am I taking an attorney? Yes, I just want to know from the legalese what I'm getting into before I put the old John Henry down there. It's just prudence on my part, and that's what I want to do. Rockstar, what about you?
Well, I was just thinking, you know, last week I told you that farm I wanted that was on the market for 2 years suddenly got sold.
Well,
and I
buy
was so
from them.
bummed out.
Yeah,
Well,
just go up there and offer them twice the price.
Yeah,
Get out.
Yeah, do a great Gatsby, right? But no, what I wanted to reinforce was that something that we're not used to because we've been restricted by the amount of money we have, and therefore we're restricted in our resources. There are opportunities that we haven't even considered that will come about because of who we are becoming. So yeah, I lost that farm, but another place I wanted property, and a specific property, and the families owned it since 1873. I never even dreamed that it would become available, and lo and behold, it's on the market as of Thursday. And I'm telling you that probably a third or fourth phone call I'm going to make after we RV is to that realtor and say, hey, I'm buying it. Because I know the property. I know it inside and out. I grew up on it. And I never would have dreamed that it would become available, and yet there it is. And I have the resources to literally pick up the phone and say, put it on so-and-so, put it on hold. If you need a reference, call the first selectman. He's a family friend, you know, kind of thing. So don't sweat the small stuff. We're so practiced at sweating the small stuff because that's how our lives we've had to be that way. We've had to in order to survive. And now this expansion, it's going to be overwhelming. And you always hear people say, just breathe and take your time. And that's got to be the whole communities. That's got to be your mantra. Just take your time. And you know what? If something goes while you're taking your time, don't worry. There's something else that's going to replace it almost immediately. It's supply and demand. It's quantum physics. It's God. It's all of that wrapped up into the idea that of abundance. And I know you've heard other people talk about that. We are now moving into abundance. We are not moving into the lack of things. We are not moving into restrictions. We're moving into abundance. And the laws of abundance are totally different. And they're going to take a while to learn, but just trust the abundance is there.
So, as the good Lord says, when one door shuts, another one opens. And I'll use myself as an example again. I had my heart set on a piece of property up in a certain area, and it got sold. It was perfect for what I wanted to do. So I thought. And then I found out that particular area, the water wasn't like what I wanted. So if you didn't get it, it's because really God didn't want you to have it. He knew there was a problem with it, and he's opened up a couple other options for me, and I'm happy about that. It's just like Iko said, when this goes down, I'm going to call the realtor and say, I'll take it. I'll pay the price. When do you want to see it? It doesn't matter. I'll buy it sight unseen and deal with it later. So, Pastor, what about you?
Well, I'm just thinking about helping some people, and we've got our eyes on a couple things we want. That we wanted a new home, and the one we wanted sold twice, and it's been a long time, guys. There's a lot better things than homes, cars, this kind of thing, but these are wonderful times, and God's gonna provide, and He's gonna provide you opportunities to help people and to do certain things as well. That's going to be a huge benefit. But I really, my frivolity will be in a fishing boat, Jerry. And I know that Iko likes boats too. So there's something about being out on the ocean to me. And I don't know why. My wife will even tell you. She'll let me go pretty much anytime I want to go. There's something about being out there. Everybody's got a place, and that's where I really have peace. How about you, Iko?
Yeah, and you just touched on something else too, Pastor. It's in order to administrate, manage, and manifest the good works we want to do, we have to have our baselines covered in our personal lives. We can't do our best work in the philanthropic arena, in the areas of charity, in helping our communities, etc., if our lives are a mess. So don't be guilty. Don't feel guilty about getting your life set up and then moving into philanthropic ventures. I've got a bit of a time constraint because I'm working with veterans in crisis. These are men and women who are suicidal. So I have to do both things at once because every day I wait, the statistic is 22 people take their lives. So there's an immediacy there. I've done as much as I can to set that up, and now I'll be able to get it moving because the funds will be there. But by the same token, I can't ignore my personal life. I can't ignore my family. You can't ignore any of that because that will drag you down, or that will cause you to make snap decisions or wrong decisions on the other end, on the charity end. So don't feel bad about getting some of the things you need to take care of yourself and to take care of your immediate family. Most people have time to move into the philanthropic end of this thing. You can't forget that. That's the reason we're being given this kind of money. That's why these rates exploded as they did, because the folks in control are trusting that we are going to do the one thing that we've complained about all these decades, in that the wealthy hoard their money instead of distributing it. When they have it, they hoard it out of fear. We're going to give it out of grace. But we also have to take care of ourselves. It's a bit of a balancing act, but that's one of the challenges.
Let's take a couple calls, and then we'll
Sure.
probably end this. So we're going to Irving, Texas, 972. Come on down. Hello, Irving, Texas. Robert?
Yeah, 1 second here.
Yeah, we'll come back to him. Houston, Texas. 832. Come on down.
Good evening, Jerry. Ico, Pastor. How are you tonight, Jerry?
Good. One question, please, because it's only an hour.
Okay. My question is, I know they're going to be doing background checks on everybody, but if you go down there, you can steal weapons permit. Wouldn't that make the process quicker?
I have no idea. I haven't even heard anything about that. And it wasn't addressed, so I don't know.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jerry, I can add a little bit on there. I don't know if that would help speed it up, but I do know they will do background checks, and they have done background checks. And it's something that, is going to be pretty much a given. And that could help, but, I wouldn't, one of the things, just chill out and just do what comes natural to you and don't get anxiety over all this. All right.
Sandpoint, Idaho, 208.
That's me, Jerry. I have a question for a bunch of us, and we want to get cashier's checks at the time of the appointment. And using that skeleton trust, I was wondering if you knew what the percentage limit was on that principal that we could take out in cashier's checks.
Well, I do, and I'm not going to say, and you won't know till you get there.
Oh, Jerry, how could you do that to me?
Well, it just is what it is. There's some things that have to be a mystery when you get there.
Okay. Thank you very much, you guys.
You're welcome. So our next caller it just says restricted, no name, no city on Skype. Come on down. Hello, restricted on Skype. Hello, hello. Okay, going once. Restricted on Skype. Going twice. And you're gone. Let's see. Oh, looky here. Our Canadian friends. Edmonton, Alberta, 587. Come on down.
Hey, Jerry,
Ed?
Pastor, Heiko.
How you doing?
Not too bad. Just want to chime in. I'm actually in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. But for the Canadian people, I was kind of shocked when a few years ago when I got into this, there were no Wells Fargos here in Canada. Lo and behold, to my surprise, my wife's on the internet just the other night, and I've got 5 of them right here in Calgary that I didn't even know existed.
Well, there you go.
So anyone living in a
that
major metropolitan area in Canada, they should Google Wells Fargo and see if there's something in their locale.
What do you call that? Christmas showed up early. All righty. Well, anything else I can help you with?
No, just thanks for what you guys do. If Art was there, I'd like to thank him too, but I'm sure you can pass it along. The one thing I would like to say is everyone keeps looking for this illustrious United States note. And I did send emails in, but if you go on YouTube and just type in William Mount, the very first video on his channel, he holds up a new USN, and he even shows where the signature has been written over. So the Federal Reserve signature is actually rewritten over in new ink.
I'll look at that later on.
That is, it's awesome. Blessings. Have a great day.
Bye. So this is a good one here. Come on, slow computer. I would say Plummer, but it's not Plummer. It's Palmer Worley, Idaho. Yeah, 208. Come on down.
Yeah. Okay. My question is will you make comment on how they're going to merge the U.S. Trust with the Federal Reserve? How are they going to merge that? Do you have any insight? Because it could disrupt the whole system if it's not done carefully and smoothly, right?
Well, that's way up that's in the nosebleed seats, but I'm thinking that the Fed might go away, and then it might go away. We're hoping anyway.
Just will disappear. Well, will we be able to take our money and transfer it into a U.S. trust note without losing 50% of it?
I'm thinking there's been a lot of talk about that. I don't think we're going to lose anything.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Hope you're right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Well, let's see. Irving, Texas, are you ready? 972.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing this evening?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Hey, I had a question. My one question was, did the banks help you with this list of guidelines, or did you put this together to just sort of educate everybody?
Hold on. I don't hear any background noise, so it's on your end, sweetie. Sorry about that. Say that again, please. I apologize.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. On the guidelines you were giving us at the beginning for the exchange procedures, did the bank help you put that together for us?
It was just supplied with me, and I'm pretty sure that you can take that to the bank, pardon the pun, as to how things are going to go. Okay?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was just wondering how we came up with that list, because I've heard it, it's been reiterated over the course of the last couple of years, but this one here changed things up a little bit, and that's why I was wondering maybe if the banks had helped guide you on putting this list together for us.
I'm thinking that it's pretty inclusive this time around. How's that?
Excellent. Thanks, Jerry. Go RV.
Is that what you call a political tap dance? I've been watching Ted Cruz and I've been watching Hillary, and
yeah, that was a political tap dance. You did pretty good.
You know what? Next thing you know, you're going to say I'm a politician, and I draw the line right there, because I
I'm
cannot
drawing
kiss
the line
babies
there too, Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm drawing the line right there with you, so don't even go there.
All righty. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Jared, it's called an unnamed source.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes, an unnamed source.
Okay. I'm going to give this one a whirl, and this person will understand this, but Pavarotti, are you ready to talk? Oh, Pavarotti. Yo, Pavarotti.
Hey, Jerry. How you doing, guys?
You knew if I called it that you'd know.
Oh, I know. I'm getting used to that name. Pretty soon people are going to call me that, and I'll forget my old name.
There you go. What can I do for you?
Question for you. You mentioned that if you exchange into a trust, skeleton trust, it's a non-taxable event. What if you exchange some of your ZIM into your couple of your businesses that are already incorporated or LLC?
I can't answer
make it
that
a non-taxable?
question.
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a whole different animal, and I can neither, best quote ever, I can neither confirm or deny what you just asked about.
Because I already have Wells Fargo, a couple of them set up for business, and I was hoping to just exchange some right into those accounts.
I don't know. You'd have to talk to a tax attorney.
Or probably at the bank at the time of the exchange. Gotcha.
There you go.
Well, thank you for taking my question. I appreciate it. And keep my fingers crossed.
You're very welcome.
Good night now.
So I say this so that there's no confusion. Listen carefully. Austin, Texas. I'm going to give the last 4 of your phone number so you know who I'm talking about. 1650, Austin, Texas. Come on down.
Good afternoon, Jerry. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I didn't want it being confused with somebody else in Austin who is a little cranky from time to time.
No, that's not me. Can you hear me pretty well?
Perfect.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me all right?
Perfect.
Okay. Jerry, I did have one question. I know this was kind of short notice, but was there a particular reason why you selected this topic tonight for discussion purposes? I know there's a lot of things going on right now in Iraq, but going over the exchange procedures like you have, of course, helped us kind of remember a lot of things that we've already listened to in the past from a variety of folks out there who have provided intel. But was there a particular reason that you went ahead and decided to actually have this topic?
So I think you probably answered your own question, and I'm going to say this in very humble as I can. Now, why do you think I would do something like this?
Well, I had a sneaky suspicion, but I thought I'd ask the expert and find out, if my suspicions are likely correct, and I guess they are.
And I believe I will have my web mistress actually post this on my web on the wingitcall.com, and that way everybody can look at it. And if you need to, you can print it out or copy and paste it and print it out. It'll be there for your consumption. I'm here to help.
And we are very appreciative of this because I, for one, have kind of been a bit overwhelmed with all the information that's coming down, and it's refreshing to hear it again and kind of refresh our memories. And what you have been doing for us has been truly remarkable, because I think too many folks have just kind of drifted away, and you've come in and you've filled a void, and we thank you so much from the bottom of all of our hearts. So
no,
sir.
That's a redneck void, okay? That one's never been addressed, and I'm just the first, so I'm lucky. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Let's see. Our next victim, once the computer straightens out here, I better run this by Rockstar. You want to talk to the center of the universe, Rockstar?
Share world, friends.
Pace, Connie, and New York City just do not go hand in hand. 917, come on down. New York City, 917. Hello, you have your hand raised. Come on down. I guess the center of the universe does not wish to speak to us.
Is that me?
That's you.
Oh, my goodness. I missed the very, 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 very top of this phone call. I missed the exchange procedures. So
they'll be posted.
Go to wingitcall.com, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I'm sure that my web mistress is listening, and there will be a tab called Exchange Procedures.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So And your question is?
Oh, I was just listening in. I didn't even realize you had my phone number. I'm so sorry to trouble you.
No, you raised your hand, sweetie. That's why I called on you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, I don't have a question off the top of my head. I'm very removed and just hooking in. So this is great timing.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
So, what did I do? Oh, darn it. I'm going to have to go down here and find her. Because I think, maybe not. I think I left her unmuted. Anyway, I guess not. So, last caller of the day. Waco, Texas, 254. Come on down.
Good evening, Jerry.
How you doing?
Good. I think I'm just down the road from you, huh?
Just a little bit. How's the Bears doing down there?
Need a little help.
Okay.
Appreciate all you're doing. Just a question. I've heard long payouts, short payouts for 60 plus. I'm not sure where it's at now. If that's, who's the money held by for that? If it is held, is that the banks?
Well, yeah. If you're exchanging, you're going to be exchanging. If it's a Zim, Wells Fargo. You can, if you want, you can transfer your money out of there. I'm sure they're going to work with you, but yeah, the bank is the one that's going to be holding it for you. Just like if you're go ahead.
No, I mean, if it's, let's say a 20 or 40 year payout, that's going to be theirs for that long. Is that a negotiation option?
I would think so. If it's a contract and an agreement.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, great. I appreciate it. And thanks again for all you guys do.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Have a good evening.
So, Pastor, that was the last caller. Why don't you, unless you want to take a couple more. I said an hour, and we went a little past.
Whatever you want to do, Jerry. You have a lot
Iko,
of people with their hands up?
Yeah, I've got about 25. Iko? Rockstar?
I'm good.
He's there. Continue on?
Sure.
Go.
Okay. Here we go. Chattanooga, Tennessee, 423. Come on down.
Good evening, Jerry. Thank you for having this call.
Sure, you're welcome.
A couple of the people earlier have sort of hinted around with questions there's a big gray area for some of us, and their questions relate to that. And since you can't tell us basically the amounts that we will be able to leave the bank with, and it's recommended that we put it in a skeleton trust. So will we have access to some of our funds to do things like Iko mentioned, maybe buy a new home or whatever, big ticket items, in the period of time while we're putting our financial team together? Will we be able to write checks out of that trust, skeleton trust? How will that work?
I'm thinking that, you can get cashier's checks. There wasn't an amount put on there of what you could and couldn't get for a cashier's check, but I don't know. That's a question that's going to be best answered when you're sitting there, because they're going to have, there's going to be somebody there that can make that decision. Okay?
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Now, when when we're speaking of the skeleton
hold on.
trust,
Go ahead, Rockstar.
I think I can take a diplomatic stab at this without offending anybody and giving some reassurance. You're going to have access to some of your principal, okay, immediately. If you are grossing such an amount of money that you need to be put into a structured payout, the amount that you will have access to, so long as you're not trying to buy a small country, you're going to be okay. You're going to have access. You're certainly going to be able to buy a substantial home. The new car, all of the personal things, and the seed money for your philanthropic goals. All of that's going to be available. And you also have full access to the quarterly interest payments on the principal that you're leaving under the bank's management for the structured payout. So there's going to, if you're in a structured payout, there's going to still be a substantial amount of money for you to manage and use how you see fit. So I don't think. Well, if you're gonna move the population of Zimbabwe of Bangladesh to higher ground, you're gonna need some help funding that. But everything else, I think you're gonna be okay with. Let's put it that way. They're not trying to hamstring us. Okay, what they're trying to do is keep from dumping ungodly amounts of capital into the system, and the system's not prepared to handle it yet. It's going to take time, and that's what those structured payouts are all about. But we're in unbelievably good shape, no matter how you look at this thing. I guess that's what I want to say, and I don't think any of you will get mad at me for saying that. We are truly blessed. That's just the given now.
I'd just like to say this. The number of zeros, depending on what you hold, I don't want to know. Please don't even attempt to tell me. The number of zeros to the left of the decimal point is going to make your head spin. And it's taken me, Iko and I have talked about this for a while, and it's taken us a while to wrap our brain around those zeros to the left of the decimal point. That's all I'm going to say. And you'll understand once you get to the exchange center and they start throwing numbers around that are going to make your eyes roll back in your head going, oh my God. Oh yeah, that's another thing. When you go to the exchange, make sure to have your pad and pencil and a calculator. One that has many zeros to the left of the point before it goes air. You don't want one of those. You want one of the big ones. Oh, and this was another question that I got off of the email site. One person goes, do you think I can take my laptop? It's got my spreadsheet, so all I have to do is just plug in numbers and it tells me what I have. I don't know. Take it with you and see what happens. So there you go. Sorry, I digress, but did that answer your questions?
It did. I just have one other. Since many people are holding multiple currencies, do you suggest putting them all lump them together in one skeleton trust or different skeleton trusts?
Yes, I've been told that it doesn't. How can I put this? I've heard through the grapevine. I haven't been told. I've heard through the grapevine that you can mix them now. It's totally up to you because you're going to have a deposit slip for each currency And so that's going to be self-regulating there. How much do you have? Well, here's my deposit slip.
Great. Good deal. Sounds great.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for my computer to catch up. Chino, California, 909. Come on down. Chino. Hello.
Hi, Jerry.
How you doing?
I'm good, Jerry. How you doing?
Good today. What can I do for you?
This is Solomon from California. I just have a question. On this skeleton trust, if I heard things right, the capital gain is not taxable, but the interest on the capital gain is taxable. Did I hear that correct?
Yes, I'm posting what I read on my web page. I've already sent it to the webmistress.
Okay.
And so it's a non-taxable event for the principal that you put in there.
Okay.
Your original deposit is non-taxable. What is the interest that's made off of it, and it'll be paid quarterly. Okay?
All right. Thanks a lot, Jerry. Really appreciate it. Thanks for doing
Jeff.
a really good job. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I got something.
Go ahead, Iko.
I got something to add to that, and I'm not positive of this, but I think when it's inside the trust, it's anything that remains in the trust is technically tax deferred. If you take money out of the trust for personal use, it's taxable. But the interest, and again, you guys got to check with your accountants on this, okay? But what I believe is, let's say you got $1 million in the trust at 5% to make the math simple. So you're making $5,000 interest. If you roll that back into the trust and don't take a penny of it, don't spend any of it, don't do anything with it other than add it to the principal, that's tax deferred. It's only when you pull actual money out of the trust that you would be taxed, and that's behind that saying that we all hear, own nothing, control everything. You're going to buy a car through your trust, and you're going to be named as the administrator of that car, but you don't own that car. You're simply the one who's charged by the trust to take care of it. So, and again, if it's a $50,000 car, you didn't buy that car. You didn't take your money to buy that car. You didn't take money out of the trust to buy that car. The trust bought the car. So again, I'm not an expert in this. It's things that I've heard as we're going along here, but I'm not positive that these interests, if you take the interest out of the trust, yes, you're going to get taxed on that, just like you would interest on any investment. But it's just like the stock market. If you roll your money back into your investment and don't pull any dividend out, you're not getting taxed on anything. If there's any tax folks or investment folks on the call, maybe they can chime in on that. But I believe that's going to be the case. Some of us would literally be looking at $1 billion interest a year. Are we going to spend $1 billion? I don't think so. So we're going to leave that in the trust.